Hi guys, it's me, Terri of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome to WIP Wall Wednesday, episode number 9. Okay, so if this is your first WIP Wall Wednesday episode that you have checked out, welcome. And I just, as a brief description, I'm just going to say that I have this pegboard over here that I've got hanging a bunch of project bags, and a lot of them are, and I call that my WIP wall, okay? And so a lot of those bags have projects in there that have been what I have called them sleeping, because I haven't worked on them in a long time. And so I started this series to try to keep myself accountable to get these projects finished and out of those project bags, so that way, of course, I can fill the project bags with new WIPs, because isn't that what we do? Okay, so for this episode, I'm working on a project that I've been working on for several episodes of WIP Wall Wednesday, but I am making really good progress on it, and I think I'm just about finished with it. So this was just a scrap project that I started out with a bunch of little rectangles that I didn't know. I was going to make a blanket, but the blanket was going to be too tedious. I just didn't want to make as many rectangles as it said I was going to have to make, and so I decided to, and then of course that means it went into my sleeping WIP pile, because I just didn't want to work on it because the task of making all those rectangles were too daunting. So in order to finish that project off, I decided to turn it into a different blanket using the around the bases blanket pattern, and I will of course link that pattern in the description box below, so then you can find it. But briefly, you start with your own square, whatever size square you want to start with, doesn't matter, just as long as the stitch count is a certain multiple, like I think it's multiples of 6 minus 2 or something like that per side. And this is a square blanket, and then you just go on from there, okay? And it's called around the bases because it's based on baseball, so each part is not part 1, part 2, it's innings. The first inning, the second inning, and there's 9 parts, so like 9 innings, like a baseball game. Okay, so I will show you now my progress. I just finished inning number 6, and I've just actually did the first 2 rounds of inning number 7, okay? So here is my blanket so far. See, all those little rectangles in the middle is what I started with, and so I just stitched them together, kind of a, I don't know if you call that a herringbone or design. It is actually what the original blanket was going to be. It was going to be all those rectangles. Well, some of them are squares, but anyway, that was just too many for me to make. I had to make like 186 of them or something, and I was like, nope, not gonna do it. So anyway, I stitched them together, used them as a central square, and then went on from there. And of course, this project is kind of like a, besides it being a scrap project, it is kind of like a sampler, I guess, because it's different stitches. Yeah, sampler, I guess, yeah. Anyway, so last time I showed you, I was on these leaning shells, or I don't know what that, can't remember what that stitch is called, but I was on the blue one there, that very top one. Okay, and so I finished that, and then I started with that was the end of inning number 5, okay? And so then I had, let me see if I can get it, not have a glare there, these 3 stitches there, and it is a, get it up close, see that? It is called a back post single crochets, yeah. And so that was very, it was pretty tedious and monotonous, you know, because it took a long time to get all those little back post single crochets. But of course, the edge, it made a really neat little design there. It was like a, what do they call it, the camel stitch. But anyway, so that was inning number 6, okay, those rows there. Well, actually it started with this half double crochet row right there, and then it had 3, no, yes, no, 2 rows of the back post single crochets, but then when you started ending number 7, which I'm really liking this part, this section, this stitch I'm doing, you had to do an additional row of the back post single crochets as a setup row for row 7 for some reason. I'm not sure. Well, just to even it out, I guess. But anyway, so that ended up me having to actually do 3 rows of that back post single crochet. So I'm glad to get through with that. I like the way it turned out, but I'm glad that one's over. Okay, so that was like, I think the designer said an act of perseverance or something like that as far as getting those rows done. But anyway, this next one, can you see the stitch? My lighting is a little bit different. We were trying to experiment a little bit with my lighting setup in here, so I don't think it's quite right yet. But anyway, because it seems like there's a glow. Anyway, what this is, you see that? It is you skip a stitch, and it's a double crochet round, okay? So you skip a stitch, and then you do 3 double crochets, one in the next 3, one each in the next 3 stitches. And then you go in, you yarn over like you're making a double crochet. You go in front of those 3 stitches that you made, back to that stitch that you skipped, and you go into that one, and I just kind of stick it in and around, so I'm actually entering the stitch from back to front, and then you finish your double crochet, and it makes this crossover. See, there's a crossover stitch right there across those 3 double crochets that you originally made. So anyway, it makes a really neat looking, I don't know if it's called a cable type stitch, but it's a really cool, I think, textured stitch. Okay, so that is the first 2 rounds of ending number 7. Then the next 2 rounds, you first have to do a single crochet round all the way around, and then you do this cable stitch thing again, and then another single, and then another of the cable stitch. I'm sure that's not what it's called, but anyway, and I'm going to change colors with each one. So in other words, I think I'm going to go, because I've been trying to pull colors out of those squares, and I think what I'm going to do is I haven't used a purple yet, and so I'm going to add a purple onto there for my next 2 rounds, which would be the single crochet and then that crossover double crochet stitch thing. And then I'll change colors again and then do that again, so I'll have 3 actually 3 patterns of these cable stitches, or whatever they're called. And then I'm thinking that I might go ahead and finish it off. I know that would be just the ending of that would be the end of row, or part number 7, or the 7th inning, okay? But I think this is getting pretty large. I believe I measured the length of it, the width of it right now, and I believe that's 39 inches, and in each one of this cable stitch thing that I did, each one of those is about 1 inch, and so that would get 40 to 42, somewhere around there, inches when I get the remaining 2 sets of those done. And I think that will be a good size lap gan, or just a blanket for a child or young adult, like for Project Lioness or something. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, I will go ahead and snap a picture of this laying out, so then you can see it a whole lot better, and then I will insert it at the end of this video, okay? Well, no, I'll just insert it right here. Here it is. Okay, so that is my WIP Wall Wednesday project that I've been working on, and that's really the end of this video. So in 2 weeks I will come back on for WIP Wall Wednesday episode number 10, and I believe I'm going to go ahead and finish this project up, and so it will be a finished object next week, and then I will decide on another sleeping WIP from my wall, get that out, and start working on that. So I'm not sure what I kind of have an idea what I'm going to do. It hasn't been sleeping as long as some of my other ones on there, but I have not worked on it probably in a month or 2 months, or I don't know, something. And so I'm really anxious to get it done and off, out of my WIP, my project bag, and go on to something else. So I think that might be my next WIP Wall Wednesday project that I will be working on. So we'll see. I'll look through them again and remind myself what's over there, and we'll see which one I pick. But I think I have an idea. So anyway, please come back in 2 weeks and watch WIP Wall Wednesday episode number 10 and see my finished blanket and see what the next project's going to be. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. You're really helping me stay accountable to get these sleeping projects finished. It's always a good sense of accomplishment to get things done, and I'm hoping that I am inspiring others. I have heard from a few people commenting that they are getting some of their sleeping WIPs out and working on them along with me. So I'm very happy about that, because it's all, like I said, it's always nice to get things done. So that's it, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We will have the next episode of the Yarnjoy podcast. I believe it'll be episode 155, I think. And I have now reached my 3-year anniversary. I've been talking about that it's been coming up. Well, I've actually passed it a few days ago. So 3-year anniversary of being on YouTube and making YouTube videos. So it's been a quick 3 years. It just seems like, they say things always go faster when you're having fun. I can't think of the exact how it goes, but anyway, you know the one I'm talking about. So, time flies when you're having fun. Yes, because I am so much enjoying sharing this part of my life with you all, and to those that enjoy looking at craft related things, especially crochet and yarn related things. It's so fun to be able to find people that enjoy what you like to talk about and can share the excitement that you get, that we all get in getting things and making things and showing what we're doing. So, okay, I'm going now. So we will talk to you tomorrow in tomorrow's Yarnjoy podcast episode. And I got some happy mail today. I picked up this wonderful package today, and so I'll be making a video showing you the happy mail that I have gotten recently, a couple of packages and a card. So stay tuned for that video as well. Okay, guys, have a great Wednesday. This is Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.